Here we have one of the most elusive and strange creatures in the sonic world. A rare and peculiar species, it thrives in the hands of the adventurous. Merciless in its approach, it takes innocent sounds and twists them into metallic, alien creations. Welcome, Behringer BM-12 RING Modulator. Yeah, this is an odd one. It's sound unlike any other. Metallic, otherworldly, it can transform melodies and chords into something completely new. The Ring Modulator is a sonic disruptor, a creative force, and one of the most mysterious effects in music. It's a creation that bridges the world of synth and guitar to create uniquely fascinating textures and sounds. But where did this curious creation come from? To understand the Ring Modulator, we need to go back, way back. The Ring Modulator wasn't originally intended for the music world. It was born in a lab, designed to be used in radio and telecommunications. But it wouldn't be long before its sonic potential was realised. One of the first moments the world heard ring modulation was in 1963, with the voice of the Daleks in Doctor Who. Exterminate! Alien and menacing, it was a sound that made its way into the sweet, sweet nightmares of the baby boomers. And that was just the beginning. It would crop up time and again, but perhaps most famously in the hands of an even darker force, Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath, the godfather of heavy metal, utilising its unworldly sound to create the profound and striking solo in Paranoid. Now, I'd love to play the solo for you, but we'd definitely get a copyright strike. But with the main solo pan to the left and the garbled ring mod on the right, it sounded something like this. And the same idea works great for some lovely melodic synth chaos as well. That's the thing about the Ring Modulator. It doesn't just colour your tone, it warps it. It fights you and it turns something familiar into something completely unrecognisable. It forces you to rethink the very nature of the sound. And it didn't stop with rock. Experimental musicians, synth pioneers and avant-garde composers took the Ring Modulator into uncharted territory. David Bowie, Brian Eno and countless sonic explorers found beauty in its chaos. It still has a draw to it. Maybe it's because in a world where music is often polished, the Ring Modulator reminds us of something raw and unstable. It surprises us, and in that unpredictability, there's inspiration. So now it's time to tickle the belly of the beast and make it make some sound. First, we start with familiar territory, the drive knob. Use this to dial in the right level of signal and saturation. What's also good to know is this works even when the pedal is bypassed. This is a great feature to be aware of, especially for those of us who only occasionally reach for a ring modulator. It opens up the possible use cases for this box, and you might find yourself reaching for it just for the preamp itself. And now we're getting into it. So in order to know what your next steps should be, it would be worth knowing what the f*** is going on. The frequency control is changing the frequency you're bombarding your input signal with. At low frequencies, it will create a tremolo-like effect. As the frequency is increased, these fluctuations become so rapid they generate distinct new tones rather than a pulsing effect. This makes the frequency control crucial for shaping the overall sound, from subtle modulation effects to radical bell-like or metallic sounds. This switch will help you jump between these two different worlds, with low setting the frequency range from 0.6 Hz to 80 Hz, and high setting the frequency range from 30 Hz to 4 kHz. But there's more. You also get an LFO. At this point, the synth folk are like, hell yeah. And the guitarists are like, yeah, cool. A what exactly? Okay, so this LFO allows you to modulate the frequency of the carrier oscillator, which is that oscillator we were talking about earlier, the one battering the living daylights out of your original signal. Because the frequency is moving, it means the math is changing. So the sum and difference frequencies move towards and away from each other at different speeds, with a choice of either square wave or sine wave contour. If that doesn't make any sense, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we're only here for the sounds anyway, so let's do that now. What's really cool with the modulator in the low position is you get some really interesting tremolo rhythms. Okay, so as if a ring modulator wasn't a wild enough effect as it is, this box has taken it up a notch with this section. This is going to allow you to input external control voltages or an expression pedal to manipulate parameters in the pedal. You also have the ability to output the internal carrier signal, input a carrier of your own choosing, as well as output the internal LFO. And if you take a closer look, you can see wood side panels and an all-metal enclosure. So let's have a look at just a few ways you can utilize this immense CV and audio I/O to create even more fugued up sounds. So for this example, we're using the Neutron synth, and we're taking the sample and hold output and sticking that into the CV frequency control on the back of the BM-12. So you're getting all sorts of random changes in this frequency parameter. And here's the same setup for synth. The result is a random tremolo effect. Where will it take you? Behringer BM-12 RING Modulator.